The other day, a young lady, brown as the melanin in my daughter's eyes, said behind the mic that she hated being a woman. She wanted to know what it meant to be one. I've often wondered the same, looked around for the teaching of such to tell me of myself. We all learn to be by imitation or indoctrination. Mama and media can't help but train, tutor us into carbon copies of themselves, so then, knowing who we are, or what we should be, is really understanding whose costumes we wear on most days, whose skeletons we switch with when Adam took his nap. I was told a woman was independent, autonomous, that she needed not a man or moon to keep her in orbit. She moved about as wind and breeze, lived without needing permission to interrupt all that is still and under restraint. They said a woman cannot truly be herself. That is, if her skin is not light enough, black enough, if her hair is no Rapunzel replica, or if B2 Underground Railroad for those cotton-acting men to stomach. They told me my body is neither belonging of me nor its beauty innate, but instead I am not gorgeous unless I am told by another woman's son to be so. When did the mouth of men in whose image women are not made and begin to damage us so silently? We listen and learn submissively to the voices that have no deity in it. I was told a woman should not submit, should not be meek, that type of behavior was only for women who treated their voice like a secret. I was told not to be a secret but a siren, to be as machete as I can in honor of my opinions at the expense of respect. While some men may believe themselves to have liberty over a woman's body, as taught how to destroy as only depravity could predict, we have equally learned how to tear and rip an undue dignity with a mere sentence or squint. It's called strong by society. They tell us that's what a backbone looks like. But beautiful is a spine that remembers where it came from, that lets its knowing of self and woman not be determined by every wind of doctrine and dust, but God himself. We must unlearn the deep misunderstandings that compose themselves as empowerment, as freedom. Liberation has never come by way of unbelief. Eve did not attain life by finding beauty in lies. We women must be wiser, must be discerning, must be bent on loving truth, no matter how contradicting it is to a dying culture. A woman is no fool unless she chooses to be. If you ask me, what is a woman? I would tell you she is a bone made alive, with distinctions that set her apart, as does the difference between a firefly and a new poem. A woman is not a man. Her calling is not a synonym of inferiority. Her distinctions are not born of patriarchy. We come from a creative God. Did you see his fingerprints in your hips? The whistling shadow of his mind when your body became home to another name that called you mommy with all the gladness you forgot could exist. A woman submits to her God, her husband, her church. She is no weak-willed and brittle-backed woman, but only as strong as humility and faith might identify her to be. Submission sounds like servant. Servant sounds like rebel against, they say. Yet being a servant is repulsive to everyone but God, and we wonder why we can't recognize his face. If you asked me, what is a woman? I would say she is a sister to all. Even though those whose blood is not of the same roots, but who is still as kin as her mama's firstborn. And she treats these sisters like a wintered quilt, making sure her mouth does not unstitch that which was made to keep cold hearts warm. We are made up of nurture and everything comfortable. And that is why we feel so deep, why we cry so sudden, because the emotions that make us woman don't make us unstable, but turn us refuge to the chaos inside the space where our ribs once sat. We are necessary and nuanced at best. But a woman should be nothing more or less than what God has made her to be. Anything that defines our being, that does not shimmer and sing of Christ and his wisdom, is a definition destined for flames. If you asked me, what is a woman? I would simply tell you, ask the God who made her. Amen.